Here we go! The original ThunderCats show was animated in Japan while being produced, written, and voice acted in the United States. ThunderCats is an American media franchise, featuring a fictional group of cat-like humanoid aliens. The characters were created by Tobin, Ted, Wolf and originally featured in an animated television series named ThunderCats. Running from 1985 to 1989, which was animated by Japanese studio Pacific Animation Corporation, and co-produced by Rankin Bass Animated Entertainment. Tounge-a-saurus is a giant amphibious creature that lives in the River of Despair. With massive claws and even bigger teeth, the tounge-a-saurus is a beast that residents of Third Earth fear and avoid. In the actual show, tounge-a-saurus has a small arm reminiscent like a T-Rex. What happened was the toy come in 1984, but the show aired in 1985. So they can't produce it on time for the holidays 1984, that's why there isn't a lot that came on the toy shelf. So it's one of the rare toy ever produced. LJN ThunderTank Pedal Power Cycle, Big Wheel Pedal Bike was the first and only ThunderCats tricycle that was made by LJN Toys. The child-sized tricycle was made of hard durable plastic. The Pawnstar expert stated that because it's a bike it's made to be played with. Most bike that survives has a missing back sit.
But the good thing is, this is in good condition. The paint is good, it only has a little scratch and little chips. But most importantly, almost all the parts are intact. Even the wheels has no sign of usage. The owner of the ThunderCats memorabilia is asking $2,000. After examining tounge-a-saurus and the ThunderTank pedal power cycle, the expert gave an estimate of $1,800 for the two, but Rick Harrison offered $1,100. The owner thinks that the tounge-a-saurus alone cost over $1,000, so no way we could have a deal, said the owner.
And his arms were really short, reminiscent of Tyrannosaurus Rex and T-Rex arms. What happened was the toys actually came out in '84. The show didn't air until '85. They couldn't get it produced in time to get it done, but they wanted to have the toys out for the holiday season in '84. And it's considered one of the rarest production figures from the line.
So what do you think of these?
The condition of the bike is pretty good. It does have some scuff marks and a little bit of wear. Overall, though, it's a really nice example. They're usually tore up, the paint is almost always scuffed, and the back of the seats are even usually missing. And the tounge-a-saurus is the expected condition for one that would be out of the box and maybe have been played with at some point.
What do these things go for?
Individually, the tounge-a-saurus is something that collectors clamor for, especially from the action figure side. I think you get $700 for it. The ThunderTank cycle, you could do $1,100 on this one. So I think in total, to expect $1,800 for the pair, I think is reasonable.
Very nice, very nice.
All right, well, thanks, man.
Founded in August 1919 in New York City by Louis Marx and his brother David, the company's basic aim was to give the customer more toy for less money, and stressed that quality is not negotiable, two values that made the company highly successful. Initially, after working for Ferdinand Strauss, Marx, born in 1894. Line Mar Toys was the trade name under which Marx toys were manufactured in Japan, then sold in the United States and other countries. The reason to make Line Mar toys in Japan was to keep costs down. Under the Line Mar name, Marx produced. In 1955, with sales of 50 million, Marx spent a mere $312.00 on advertising for the entire year. Time magazine 1955. Louis Marx and Company was an early player in the plastic toy field. After World War II, Marx introduced more vehicles, taking advantage of molding techniques with various plastics. Pressed tin and steel remained in the form of Buicks, Nashes, or other semi-futuristic sedans, race cars, and trucks that didn't replicate any actual vehicles. One car was a tin Buick-like wood-bodied station wagon. These were often of various larger sizes, ranging from 10 to 20 inches long. Some vehicles were difficult to identify as Marx. One had to look for the small X&O logo, usually on the lower rear of the vehicle. Often there were no markings on the base. They made a lot of toys like Superheroes Superman, Flash Gordon, Tank, Robot. A guy brought a Line Mar toys. It's in great shape. The Pawnstar owner Rick Harrison want to examine the toys. Unfortunately, the toy expert is not available, so he have to decide for himself, the owner of the tin toy. Marx Space Explorer, at first he wanted $3,000 on it, Due to experience and knowledge of the Pawnstar owner, he huggled to $1,250 and make the deal happen. The day after he asked the toy expert if he had a good deal, he also stated that if he loses money on it, it's the expert's fault.
Okay. Right. They are very collectible, but maybe 1 out of 20,000 people collect old sheet metal toys, and then you got to find someone willing to pull that kind of money out of their pocket.
What'd you do, 1,300?
Let me do 1,250.
Sure. All right.
All right, thanks, man. I'll meet you right over there, and we'll do some paperwork.
Okay.
The Wayne Foundation comes with a working elevator to help you traverse 4 floors of fun. This will be the crown jewel of your Mego Batman collection. But be careful on purchasing your own Batman Bruce Wayne Foundation. The roof is always missing, which will actually pull up the elevator. Also a little bat shield that serve as a clip to hung your elevator. This playset was designed by DC Comics, and it shows in its attention to bat detail. From the giant penny and dinosaur on level 2 to a cameo by Batmite, this is the best Batman playset ever produced. An exciting new headquarters for the world's greatest superheroes, over 40 inches tall and 2 feet wide. 4 play levels, working multi-level elevator. Computer console trophy case, conference table with screen, 4 chairs, secret bookcase hideout, landing platform. The newest addition to the world's greatest superheroes. This exciting playset features hours of endless fun for any little superhero. Chumley is playing hard to get on this one. He even placed a bet on Corey Harrison that if the price is way lower than $500, he said that Corey would wear yellow and a red underwear like Robin. Corey Harrison agreed and said if Chumley lose, he would wear Batman suit. Most of us, we know Chumley. He is not a big fan of Batman. The next day Corey Harrison asked the expert about a deal, and the expert says it's easy on $1,100. Most of the time Chumley is right regard this kind of stuff, but not this time.
A Batman dollhouse for $500 without checking in with our expert first, and I think he way overpaid. So we made a bet, and if Steve values this at under $500, Corey's gonna have to do whatever I say.
This is pretty cool, man.
I don't know if I'd say cool.
Well, you know, it's funny, you know, I know you don't like Batman, but in the 70s, Batman ruled. Batman was so popular that you had companies like Mego trying to kind of produce whatever they could. Mego, when they had started producing these playsets, they started with like the Planet of the Apes. They produced like the big playset with the treehouse. So then in '74, the Batcave came out. And unique from the fact that you didn't have anything that was like this big of a playset for boys. You had the Barbie Dream House, you had those type playsets, but for boys, you hadn't really gotten to something that was this big.
I think that's why Corey likes it so much, because he loves dollhouses.
So, what do you think it's worth?
You know, so I noticed that you're missing the rope, which would actually pull up the elevator here. And then there was a little bat shield that attached to the end of it that would hang off this piece. And then when you pulled up to a floor, you would hook it over the front to be able to place the elevator on different levels.
That's got to affect the price drastically, right?
It is one of the harder pieces to find. It is commonly missing. However, because it is so commonly missing, most collectors would be more than satisfied with this because you have all of the clips. These are always missing or broken. You have all of the furniture pieces. It's a very nice box. And you've got the instruction sheet for it as well, which is really cool. So obviously you've got almost everything that you would need here for someone that would want a Wayne Foundation. If you're a Mego collector, it's not gonna take long for you to sell.
Okay, so I got a bet writing on this. I paid $500 for it. What do you think?
Well, you know, a lot of times Chum is right when it comes to this type of stuff. He knows quite a bit about it.
You know, you know.
However, I think at this point, I think Chum's wrong. And the reason being is because I think you guys have no problem getting $1,100 for this.
Sweet.
So, sorry, but you lost your bet, bud.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
You know
in
what?
for it.
I've got some stuff to do.
A lady came to the pawn shop with her Batman utility belt. Planning to sell it to buy a new car, she said she really need a new car. Original components include the Bat Gun Launcher, the Bat Cuffs, the Batarang, the Bat Rope, the Grappling Hook, the Bat Signal Flashlight, Bat Rocket Grenade, Batman Message Sender Dart Projectile, Instruction Booklet. The Adventures of Batman in Detective Comics, with introducing the utility belt concept in Detective Comics 29, July 1939. In its first appearance, Batman is pretty amazing since the 1930s from the cartoons, comic book, movie, toys and memorabilia since the TV show came out in the 60s. A lot of big toys company got the license to produce Batman like Ideal, Mego, Hasbro, Kenner. Even today, Hot Toys made a lot, regards this Bat Guy. Batman Utility Belt is the holy grail if you're a Batman collector. The lady, owner of the Batman Utility Belt is asking $17,000 but the owner Pawnstar Rick Harrison ending up having it for $11,000. What a great deal.
Cool, man.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, but he's not a better superhero than Superman.
I mean, Superman kind of was the reason that the Batman show even got made. The Superman show was running more for like little kids, and they decided to do this Batman show, which was geared towards teenagers, but it fell back to little kids.
So the Batman Utility Belt.
This thing is amazing. Can I take a look at it?
Yes.
I would have been so cool when I was 6 years old if I had this.
I'll tell you what, to Batman collectors, guys, this is the holy grail. It was a toy, so it wasn't necessarily meant to hold up. And a lot of these didn't, because what happened is you opened it up on the way out the store, you ripped the belt out of the box, you put it on before you even got in the car. But this is an incredible shape. It has not been removed, it has not been played with, there's no stress marks on it. The only one thing that I see here is there's a little bit of paper tear right there off the box.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
But the thing is,
She is asking $17,000 for this.
I've seen the belts just by themselves, the most common pieces to find, sell for thousands of dollars. In the case of this, I think you've got an absolutely great piece. You have tons of Batman collectors, tons of superhero collectors, so you can't miss on the market. I think you have no problem getting $16,000 for this.
Yes.
Ideal Toy Company was an American toy company founded by Morris and Rose McTom. During the post-World War II baby boom era, Ideal became the largest doll-making company in the United States. Their most popular dolls included Betsy Wetsy, Tony, Saucy Walker, Shirley Temple, Miss Revlon, Patty Playpal, Tammy, Thumbelina, Tiny Thumbelina, and Chrissy. Their last big hit was the Rubik's Cube. Superman is a fictional superhero, who first appeared in American comic books published by DC Comics. The character was created by writer Jerry Siegel and artist Joe Shuster, and first appeared in the comic book Action Comics 1. Cover dated June 1938 and published April 18, 1938. Superman has been adapted to a number of other media which includes radio serials, novels, movies, television shows and theater. Every Superman memorabilia collector's best collection is the Action Comics #1. Action Comics 1, cover dated June 1938, is the first issue of the original run of the comic book magazine series Action Comics. It features the first appearance of several comic book heroes. Comic Connect sale represents one of the highest prices ever paid for a comic book. A copy of Action Comics 1, graded CGC 8.5 by Certified Guarantee Company, CGC, has been sold for one of the highest prices ever paid for a comic book, just over $2 million. Original cardboard box contains 13 inches tall jointed doll by Ideal Novelty Toys Co., 1940. Box is rather generic in nature save for applied paper label on one end with Ideal company name and information along with classic image of Superman. Now back to the story. The owner of the Superman doll is asking for $6,000 but Rick Harrison tried to lowball it for $2,000. Even $2,500 but the owner knows what he have. Especially having it with its original box, it ended to be a no deal.
This is really cool. So you're saying this is the first piece of merchandising for Superman?
Correct.
Okay.
This has got to be old. It's got the old Superman logo on his chest. It looks different now.
How'd you get it?
There's a gentleman that I met years ago. He started selling off some of his massive Superman collection, so I wound up buying it from him.
Okay. He was a smash hit from day one. Back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, almost always you'd go see a double feature at the movies. And in between the movies, you would have your animated shorts. That would be like Woody Woodpecker or Superman.
Right.
And those were really important because it drew in kids. This is the original box?
It is. I'll tell you something else about the box. There's only 10, maybe 12 examples of this box being original that even exist.
Okay. So the big question is, how much do you want for this action figure?
$6,000.
You better get some kryptonite.
I'd go $2 grand for it.
I'll have to pass. If I can't get $5 grand, I'll just have to go home with him. This same doll with a rag box at a big Americana auction 10 years ago brought a little over $10,000.
That was 10 years ago. That was a different world. What I can do is I go $2,500 if you want it.
But I think I'll keep it.
Okay. Well, have a good one, man.